have a great panel lined up next, and this is going to be on monetization strategies for the next wave in mobile. And for this panel, we have Shirley Lin moderating and a great panelist. Come on stage. We have Maria Alegre of Chartboost, Ron Cherney of Playphone, Christopher Kasolki of Handy Games, Evgeny, I can't even say his last name, Kasapovlov of iFree. Welcome.
Hello? Oh, it's already on. I'm sorry. I don't mean to curse. Thank you very much. My name is Shirley Lin. I work with an Italian company called Be2. So I have great panel today.
Do you want glasses?
Maria Allegra and Ron Cezerny. If I pronounce it wrong, just jump on me. And I have Evgeny Kosmotov, something has to do with tofu. But, oh, you are early. I promise.
Thanks,
and
man.
There's a Chris and Kosoloka? Kasoloka. Okay. So I promised my panelists that because it's Saturday afternoon, 2:30, and everybody will be dozing off. So I promised them I will be serving beer. Yes. Actually, I didn't promise. It was Chris, because he won't speak on my panel unless there's a beer being served. Awesome. So we're going to have them chilled and kick back and just rock it, okay? And we have extra. Thank you, Barrett. This was actually a conversation late last night. We talked about this. I didn't know that they were actually going to have it. Yes. Where's mine? Great, thank you. All right, and the reason is because today on my panel, we have 4 panelists and coming from actually 4 nationalities and plus me, 5. So I was asking for 5 different beers, but obviously I couldn't do that, 5 different beers. Like Russian beer, where in the world do you get Russian beer or Brazilian beer? I can only get Qingdao. This is Heineken, that's for you. Okay, so very interesting. We're gonna do it really fast, and because we have extra beer, so all of you who ask great questions, guess what? You're gonna have a beer, all right? All right, so Maria, just really quick, we have agreed we are not gonna do a lot of commercials. I'll let you guys intro just really quick. Maria.
Hello, everyone. I'm Maria Alegre, the co-founder and CEO of Chartboost, and we build technology for mobile games. We're the alternative to the ad networks.
Ron Cherney, founder and CEO of Playphone. We're a social gaming network platform. We work in strategic partnerships with carriers, and we have developers all over the world using our platform today.
Oh, okay. Maria is originally from Barcelona, and Ron is from Brazil. Sao Paulo?
I'm from Barcelona, but the company is in Soma, in San Francisco.
The company is back here, yes. And Ron is from Brazil. Sao Paulo?
Brazil, Curitiba, south of São Paulo.
Okay, somewhere near. Okay. And Evgeny?
Hello, my name is Evgeny Kosolapov, but to simplify it, many people know me as Eugene, so it's up to you how to call me. Originally, I'm from Russia, from a company which develops apps and games, and we also do publishing. But last 2 years, I live in China, and I'm focusing on the Asia market, like China. We have office in China and India, so this is like 2 expertise, like in Eastern Europe and Asia.
Right.
Okay, I'm Christopher Kasolke, CEO and co-founder of Handy Games, the oldest mobile game developer out there that is still there.
All right. So Chris's company, Handy Games, they've been developing games, and his brother, and in some small village in Germany, and somehow they managed to produce some of the top games without taking a penny from the VCs. So that's what we're going to be talking about monetization. It's not to scam your VC, okay? The money comes from the actual income. So we're going to start. We got a big topic here. It's monetization strategies for the next wave of mobile. I have no clue what the next wave of mobile will be, so we decided to totally skip that, okay? But we'll be talking about what's the future of monetization. And we have a lot of topics to talk about. First, we want to touch about, because monetization, we talk about different platforms, iOS and Android, and a different market, there will be different ways or tactics or strategy to deal with different markets. So we're going to touch about about all those. And also the implementation, whether you do the in-app purchase or advertising, and how do you rank your applications or games. And then we will touch about what's the future, what kind of contents, what kind of ecosystem that help developers can monetize better. So we're going to talk about those. So let's start about the platform. We have all these major platforms. We were talking about Windows 7, which turns out to be has a great potential as well. Microsoft didn't pay me, okay? So we want to start, and Maria, Chartboost is a kind of game exchange network, right? So
Yes.
in terms of platform, what do you see?
So at Chartboost, we basically follow the money. And money started on iOS. So we started with iOS, but we're seeing a huge growth on Android. Companies like TinyCo starting publishing numbers 6 months ago saying how Kindle Fire was making the same ARPUs as iOS. So we expanded. Well, we've been expanding on Android the whole year. I mean, our company is 20 months old, so. And now, in the last couple of months, we're seeing a lot more developers saying that their ARPUs on Google Play are also as high as iOS. So these are the 3 platforms that we see most promising. We haven't heard great monetization numbers on Windows yet, but as soon as that happens, we're going to expand on Windows too. So,
All right. What about you, Ron?
Android all the way. Android is the global platform. We're very focused in different ecosystems, work with carriers worldwide, and Android is the platform of choice right now. I'll give an example. This is a global event, so I'd like to talk a little bit about different markets, give a perception. In Brazil, 250 million phone lines. 10% are smartphones. Out of the 10%, 25 million smartphones, large number is Android today. It is the platform of choice. We're a global company. That's what we're betting for the future.
Okay, Android is the platform in Brazil. iOS is actually much, much smaller.
It is much, much smaller. It's actually 3rd place.
Okay.
Incredibly, Nokia with the Symbian and Windows platform is number 2 today.
Okay, great. Eugene?
We, as been already more than 10 years on the market, we actually tried to cover all existing platforms, and coming from the Java world before, of course, like we had to cover Symbian stuff. And now, yes, iOS, Android, but we also do Bada, we also do Windows, and we do MTK, which is very popular in China. But talking about the future, yes, we bet on Android.
Bet on Android also. So we got 2.
So for us, everything where the consumers are. So in the moment, that's, of course, Android, iOS. And perhaps that's something in the future also we will see Windows up there. So let's see where it comes.
Okay, so this is pretty much what the current development trend has been also. So what's new? So in monetization, we talk, and I've known a lot of game developers and everybody, both here in Silicon Valley, US, and in China. Developers worry a lot about their distribution, whether they aim for the Chinese game company aim for the US market or US game company aiming to expand in China market. Everybody's worrying about distribution. And there's a lot of that tying to with the distribution. We talk about different app stores and app centers everybody is trying to do, especially in China. There are over 700 app stores and the aggregators and what I call instigators. So we want to talk a little bit about the advices that based on your expertise, your experiences, and you guys have all made, pretty sizable companies and with your market. What is the distribution channel that you see for both sides? Let's say the Asia market, the European market, and US market. What is the most effective in every different region in terms of distribution through all these different channels?
So we believe in the power of the network. And for us, that means to be able to connect all your games into one single network. So every time you launch a new game, you can leverage all the users that you already have. So we're building technology to help gaming companies create those networks internally and then connect network to network. So what you were saying of the exchange, we call that direct deals. So it's when a gaming company is connecting with another gaming company and they can buy and sell traffic directly. And this way they're connecting to networks. So it's about leveraging a huge user base in a short period of time whenever you have a launch and being able to do that fast, efficiently, and with data.
Okay, so what would you suggest that the distribution, let's say distributors here in US and versus for the China market or any place else that you know about?
Well, so what I mean is that it's more about having that network connected than that different app stores. So there's a lot of, well, especially on Android, there's a lot of app stores. And when you're, as a gaming company, what makes you powerful is all the users that you already have. And that is the horsepower you can leverage on every launch.
Okay.
So for me, the network is more powerful than the app stores.
Okay,
in that
so
case.
you utilizing your existing network
Exactly.
and stand on the giant's shoulder.
Yes.
What about Chris? I'm going to start with you.
Yeah, of course, if you want to go global, you need to take the App Store out there, the Google Play, because that's the #1 platforms you need to be. And then there are a lot of smaller platforms, even like Amazon, Barnes & Noble here in the US. You can find, even in China, you can find a lot of local distribution channels, so that's it. But if you want to be global, go to the global app stores, and that's easy.
Okay, global app store, but they are still predominant players in each different region, right? So anybody want to jump on it? I mean, in China, there are some of them, handful of those big players. We talk about big fish or small fish. So there are big fish, there are small fish.
Absolutely. I mean, you can never disregard the carriers. It is in international countries probably the largest ecosystem for monetization in different products. I mean, we talk about iOS. We're all cross-platform companies building platforms that serves literally every platform, from iOS, Android, and reaching any ecosystem out there, any store. But the carriers are still a powerful play internationally, and we support them. And we think they're coming back, actually, in some countries, stronger than ever before with their own storefronts.
Okay, the carriers, but we have seen the carriers are struggling to figure out how in the world they can do a software support system, because game is basically a software or service, right? So what is your take on that, Eugene?
Right. Well, with the carriers, we used to work when we lived like in the Java world, where we did Java games. But right now, in our opinion, carriers are kind of missing the game in general, because the smartphones are pretty open to, through smartphone, you're pretty open to access any app store you want to. And probably the general question is like, when we look in the future, like in 1, 2, 3, 5 years, is it going to be 1, 2 app stores, like Google and Apple would dominate, or it will be more app stores? And living in China, my conclusion is that there will be more app stores than 2 of them. For example, of course, all of us know that the situation on Android in China is kind of special because of the Google. But if we look even on the iOS in China, 60% of these Apple iPhones are jailbroken in China, and they have at least 4 or 5 alternative iOS app stores. And they are popular, and they are more popular than official app stores. And the reason why, actually the Apple App Store is available to China user. User can buy and download and pay everything available, but credit cards. We will come back to the monetization part. People don't use credit cards. And the big fish like Apple will not able to care about such a small things globally. So like it's the reality of developing markets. So you have to find a local solution, and the big guys are not fast enough to react to the local realities. So that's why I think globally we will see a very diversified picture.
Oh, okay, so round steak is just, besides the big fish, there are still a lot of opportunities for the small fish. Chris, what about you?
I believe that operators need to wake up. I doubt that they currently realize what content business is, because when we see how many app stores were launched from operators around the world, and they didn't work out because they were not offering the same content as they were expecting, like for example, that they already saw on an iTunes or on a Google Play. And for developers, that's a big problem, taking care about all the app stores around the world, taking care about content, and even the operators, they don't want to take care about every single small developer around the world because it's too complicated. So they don't have the system for that yet.
I would maybe add on this, like look in the South Korea market. When at the Google Play, the gaming part was kind of closed for the Korean users. There were emerged like 3 biggest operator shops, and they were really nice built, like really successful. So in looking globally, I think it's the most successful operators app store existed at this moment. But in October, Google made available the gaming part in Korea, and they won the market like boom. and the operators' stores going down right now in Korea. The reason why, because from the perspective of developer, sitting somewhere in Europe or in America, why should I bother to upload my game also onto some other app stores? Like, there is no reasons. And from the point of view of the user, why should I bother to go some individual app store on the operator if I can find anything on the Google Play?
Okay. Ron, what's your path?
It is a tough. We do most of our business in North America, but I'm trying to take the stand of more of emerging countries right now.
Okay.
And we have significant business in Latin America and in Europe. And when I look, the same topic in Latin America is just not true. Latin America, still maybe 80% of the total revenue on sales comes from the operator deck, from the operator stores, not from Google Store, not from App Store. So I wonder how that's going to shape up. It's still a long ways to go in some markets, especially emerging markets. And in the developed markets, we know Google's winning, Apple is winning, but now the carriers are trying to put together their act and come with strong offerings. So again, if I'm a developer and we work with thousands of developers, I would keep your product really open to tackle any app stores, make it cross-platform, make it easy to be distributed in multiple stores. Do not choose one platform or another, because it's still long ways to go for one store to win on a global basis.
Great. You have anything to add to that, Maria?
Well, we're more iOS-based, and on iOS, that problem is less strong. Okay. But I guess our perspective is that having an advantage on the store is huge for a gaming company, but it's not something you can build a business on. So it's something you should have as like a side thing on every launch, and yes, you want to get that, but you need to have a backup plan. And I mean, going back to what we believe is core is, like what you can dominate and what you can control is your own user base and your own network. And for me, the game feature on the app stores, it's a great plus, but it's something you cannot build a business around.
All right, thank you. So we talk about also some of the implementation kind of practices and to enable the monetization. And there's, of course, you guys all heard about it. How many of you are doing the mobile games? Those of you doing the mobile games? Quite a few. Those of you are doing the mobile apps? How many? Woo, more. Great, thank you. So it's usually, harder for the mobile apps to try to monetize, and unless you fit into a small niche market, you can do a paid version. But games, usually, they have their IAP kind of things. So in both for the game or for the apps, you can do something called burst campaign. In other words, you buy the traffic and boost your ranking, on the app stores, and then you can probably acquire a lot of users. The trick is to sustain that user inflow. And there's an IAP we talk about in-app purchase, and there's a way also to monetize is to allow the advertiser come in and through some other technology or platform and to play some product placement in your game, and then you can do rev share with others. So all these three are different practices. So would you guys like to expand as what is the most? I know Handy Games probably IAP. You do both. A lot of IAPs, probably 80% of your revenue. More?
We have a good split there, so it means we have ad revenues that comes from, because we believe that we want to monetize 100% of our user. That means even in emerging markets where in-app purchases are not working, especially on Android, that will change. At the end of the day, it's like we have in-app purchases in there, we have CPI campaigns, we have ad networks, we have product placement possibilities. So in total, you need to offer everything. So monetize as much as possible, but keep in mind that the user is not confronted with, you have to buy now. So that's the key for us.
So we talk about multi-platform that you want to support. We talk about different distribution channels, different app store you want to support, and also in-app your monetization channels in your app or your games, besides pay, besides IAP, open up and to allow the advertising whatever revenue that you can tackle into. Eugene, what about your take? And then you guys have a lot of games. You brought a lot of Russian games into China market, right?
Yeah, we actually do publish globally on the global app stores, and China is just special direction because it's a unique situation.
Okay.
But here we also we try all possible models existing at this moment. Like we do premium games when you have to pay before you play. We do try and buy. We do in-app purchase. We do advertisement. Right now in China we even trying the model of credits, microcredits, like when you give the game for free for a week. So we will see how it works. So we try everything.
Okay, okay. What about you, Ron?
I think definitely the in-app purchase is the way to go in the game business right now. All the reports that I see worldwide on advertising games is maybe 20%, 80% comes from in-app purchases. Our platform supports both, but I think developers are better off right now building great games, focusing on purchases before trying to believing that they can make other money advertising. It's just not proven yet that by these reports that I've seen so far.
Okay, okay, so focus on producing the top games, but really building the hooks for your IAP purchase, and then it still give a great user experience. Yeah.
That's number one. Games is all about engagement.
All right. Maria, what about you?
So for us, there's two keys about monetization. First one is it's becoming more and more data-driven. So keeping that balance between in-app commerce and advertising, and it's about analyzing your users, knowing them well, knowing which users are actually going to spend money and which users are not going to spend money, and then being able to use data to make those decisions. The second key is experimentation. Mobile gaming is an industry that changes super fast, and it's completely different every 6 months, and you need to be up to date all the time. So it's not about figuring out the formula and going with it. It's about always being open to trying new things, and once you try it, use the data to decide if you want to continue or not. But always you need to be trying new things.
Okay, okay.
I think one thing is about as soon as you go free, keep in mind that you need a massive amount of users. So keep in mind that you need reach. So everything under 1 million downloads is not good to make money. 1 million.
1 million download is not good for free?
Yes, because if you go free, that means you need reach.
Okay, okay. So 1 million download, it's not easy to drive, right? Without having to pay for the ranking and all that stuff.
For us, it's easy.
Everybody talk to him offline. So we talk about the monetization, and one of the things that tie into monetization, so you do all these monetization channel, and then you know, how in the world are you actually going to collect the payment? Because every country is different, and different regulation. For example, in China is different regulation. The payment provider that you work with will be slightly different, and both Eugene and Ron and Chris, you guys have experiences about collection, the payment. But one of the things as we discuss about it is that how do you collect? And Ron gave me just a live demo how they actually collect the payment in Brazil. Ron, can you demonstrate that?
But you want the American way or the Brazilian way?
Brazilian way.
No, just being serious. Of course, collecting is difficult in any country in the world, some more than others. In Latin America, collecting from the carriers, you must bring a gun with you. But there is other ways as well.
It's a matter of 30A or a rifle.
Small gun is better.
All right, and the payment solution, and we were talking
But
about...
being serious, I don't think anybody that is in the business today, in the global business, having real collection problems. The Apple system works really well, Google system on a global basis, and the carriers historically has been paying very well on a global basis. We haven't had, if you really look, we've been in this business for over 10 years, and I would say a very small percentage of issues, really issues, in North America or anywhere else in the world. So I think collection mode is being actually better than any other platforms.
But there's a lot of fraud going on, right?
In the vertical?
A lot of fraud, you know,
Oh, yes,
chargeback kind of thing. So
absolutely.
you have to deal with that, right?
Yes.
Your experience about that?
For us, what we see, the collection itself is not the issue. The main issue is the availability of the payment tools to the users. What I mentioned before, that even you have like Google Play or App Store available to developing markets, not many people have the credit cards. So of course, if they have credit cards, they pay and you collect instantly. But if they don't have a credit cards, if they don't have direct carrier billing, but they still want to use content, they still want to to play games. So how they can pay? Like what the tools available in the market? Like in China, for example, for our games, we use 12 different payment systems.
Name the 12, the top ones.
As foreign, I
Alipay.
cannot pronounce all the Chinese names, but it's anything from Alipay, which is similar to PayPal. Also, like the scratch cards which people use to top up their accounts.
So prepaid card.
Prepaid cards.
Okay.
Like a lot of different things through
Okay.
like debit cards. In the payment SDK, you have to implement at least 12, like at least dozen different payment tools. So, but the main goal is that each user who wants to play your game should be able to pay and be satisfied with the full reach of the game.
Okay.
That's the main challenge, I think. Collection, when they paid, collection is not the problem.
So in other words, every region, every country that you have to work with a different payment. There's not
that's
necessarily
mainly
a
in
whole
emerging
global, right?
markets. Emerging markets because the prepaid phones are dominant.
Right,
The prepaid phones being dominant, you cannot
Right.
use for credit cards or carrier billing. So you have to have different payment systems. But in the countries that are more advanced, and especially with smartphones, you don't have that issue as much.
Right.
This is more on the feature phone side.
Okay, correct, you're right. So anything to add to that?
I think it's just a matter of time till Google or Apple get the payment solution done in every market. So just think about how long operators worked on the content side. So they had over 10 years to get that done. Now someone else is coming, give them some time. So I'm sure if Google is not getting that done, it would be Google.
Not anytime soon?
They will do it very soon, I think.
Soon, I mean a few years.
Yes.
I agree. Few years.
Few years, okay.
Basically, Google, with their Google Play, they started to approach operators from the very beginning. From the very start, they had the credit card payment, but then immediately they went to the carriers. And in some countries, they already have carrier billing for the Google Play, but look at the Russia, like still not. Like, and they are like the Google guys are talking to the Russian operators for like, I don't know, every month about it, but it's still not working. And in China, it will take maybe not a few years.
Oh, in China, we all know that even prepaid card, there's a lot of fraud on that, right? The black card. Okay. Okay, so I want to bring out something about again we've seen so many of the game app developers here. Seems like in this room versus game developers. So it's a different content. So I want to talk about the game market versus the app market. And I know Eugene, iFree Russia, and it's a good big conglomerate. And game is a small portion, rather?
No, it's a big portion.
Oh, it's a big portion, but you cover all the other applications as well.
Yeah, we do some other.
So what do you think the monetization strategies for games versus, apps, and what are kind of different approaches that they should take?
The main difference is the games are actually so-called like impulse buying. People, it's as you say, the game is about engagement. People start the game, they love the game. When they approach the point when they have to pay, they usually don't think long, they just pay. It's because they love if the game is good, they love and pay. And usually the payment in the game is very small. So it's the economics of the impulse buying. Similar what chewing gum companies are doing.
Right.
Like
Okay.
impulse buying, like placing the chewing gum in the cash machine. Like, so it's the last moment buying. While applications are not impulse buying. It's when people use apps, they know what for they use it, and they do consider alternatives a lot. Like they compare different apps, their quality, their charge, their price points, and this is and what the main difference in monetization is that for the games, you can use different approaches, like even the premium SMS when you send out and you buy immediately. For the application, it doesn't work this way. You better provide users other like slow payments, even like credit cards. They go. If user buys your application, they will bother to go to the website, use their credit card to pay, and use the application.
Okay. So the users will think much more with buying the apps versus the impulse buy in the games. What about the game guys? What do you add on to that? What do you know anything about? Know about the app kind of monetization?
For me, it has a reason why we are producing games. So apps, for example, how many weather apps do you really have on your iPhone or on your Android phone? I think on the app business, it's tough to make money. So if you're in a really hardcore niche market, it will work. On the games business, we are producing enough games, and those are in different kinds of genre. We have more possibilities to monetize. So I think apps, you really need to be in a good niche market.
Also, the big difference is that for games, their business model is on mobile. That's where they make money, and then they need to follow the users that are going to spend money on mobile. For apps, they want the biggest distribution because many times the apps is just an extension of another business, like Groupon or eBay or Uber. Like, they just need to get to as many users as possible. So then they would care more about Android, or they would care about just getting to more users and less about the payment solution for inside the mobile app, because their business is outside. So that's the big difference.
Okay.
And
so-
normally the user time that a user is really spending is in a game is immense compared to normally an app. How long will you take to check out the weather? It's 5 seconds. So you cannot really place advertisement in there that anyone is really watching. So we have some good advantage as a game company there.
Right. The users spend a whole lot more longer time.
I've heard about one application on iOS that I think it's for the dentists, doctors, which cost $300. The premium app for the dentist that they pay with $300 per app. I don't know any single game which would cost $300. Although our pool could be $300.
Right, you end up spending $300 and $1,000 in a game.
But paying upfront $300, it's only for apps.
Oh, wow. Is that the music app? So when
No,
you get your teeth drilled, 1 hour you can listen to the apps and...
Reduces your pain.
Yes, pain reduction. Okay, so app developers taking your notes there. But, you know, I look at it, I talk to so many game companies, and then we still talk about the mobile advertising money, the market, comparing to the traditional advertising, which is the TV, the radio, the printed material, and the magazine. Still, mobile advertising market is spending, I should say, much smaller. And they are very much experiment and trying to see what kind of return that you have. I know we talk about bringing product placement inside the apps or the games. And then just quick take on that. Jump on that.
Yeah, I definitely, the mobile advertising, the huge advantage, we just launched a platform called POP. It's platform optimization platform for advertisers. And we're not supposed to do commercials here. But the point is, you can experiment thousands and thousands of different advertising ads or colors and shapes and so forth through hundreds of different ad networks instantly in one click. You cannot do it in any other media. In mobile, you can do it. We launched a campaign. We bought literally millions and millions of ad impressions and display ads over the 2 weeks period just a month ago. And you, with hundreds of different display ads. And you get the feedback instantly, and you can look at the monetization of each display, even though your product is the same. You're selling a game, but you can promote in different means the advertising mobile. You can get different feedback. You built an ecosystem with analytics, with intelligence, and then you can come back to the same ad networks, the same user group, with a completely different ad for the same product and get a different response. So the mobile advertising is an amazing industry right now, and it's going to go through many generations until it becomes really a mass market or global market, but it's coming. I think Maria can speak a lot about that because she's in that business right now. But that's my take is an incredible opportunity right now in advertising market for mobile devices.
Okay, so we need to convince those advertisers to open up their wallet, right? Digital marketing budget. Of course.
I think, for example, as a game company, you need to develop games and games that fits to advertisement. So if you check out, for example, our latest title, Like a Townsman, we even have TV-style advertisement in there. So we have really TV blocks of advertisement in there. We tried out radio advertisement within our apps. Perfect. That's totally new. I think advertisement in the heads of some marketeers are still banner advertisement. That's the standard business. We are talking nowadays about much more. We're talking about sponsoring of the next level, so game tie-ins, for example. We are talking about product placement within a game. A game, for example, you can even drink a Coke, for example. That's the next step that we will see, because that's where the gamer is. So that's a medium of the future. We are playing games here 3 hours a day. So we watch a TV, yes, but are you really watching actively? If you play a game, you look at that. That's the best thing I can
Right. So
see
the kind
as
of
marketeer.
advertising that will engage the user actually more and become immersed as part of the game experiences of the user. I think those are more engaging, and the advertisers should be able to pay better money for that kind of engagement, because for the games are also there's more retention.
Yeah, we have, for example, in Save the Puppies, that's a dog puzzle game, we have a dog food manufacturer in there. So that fits perfectly.
Dog food, okay.
So that's it. So it really has to fit to the product as well to have good feedback also from the user.
Okay, great. What about you guys? What kind of advertisement, product placement that you bring in that would be most effective?
Well, we do a lot of things. Like we will do some. We had a couple of cases even with augmented reality. Yeah, it's fancy, it's nice, it's good cases, but it's not big business yet. And talking about like, is it going to be a big business? I think it's going to be like in TV, we have paid TV and we have free TV advertisement. So I think it's going to be the same way, more or less the same proportions. The human nature will be the same for the gamers. Like some people prefer to control what they do and they would rather pay. And some people would prefer to get free stuff and just spend a few minutes of their attention for advertisement. It's very natural, and I think both systems will exist.
Go ahead, Maria.
So two things. You've talked about integrated experiences, and I do think there's a huge opportunity for integrated experiences with brands and games or movies, and there's a couple of examples of games that have done a movie version that is a lot more engaging for the user. The only problem with that is it's hard to scale, so it's only one-off deals, and it's hard to create a huge business on one-off deals. The other side of advertising is what you were mentioning, which is completely data-driven, and you decide to spend $1,000, you do a test, it works, you spend $1 million. And there's a ton of companies spending millions of dollars on data-driven or performance-based advertising. For me, these are like the two kinds of advertising, and both things are growing. But I mean, that's like the big difference. And another thing is, I don't believe that, you also said that banner ads, it's not engaging the user, and it's such a small screen that space matters. So you either see an ad or play a game, but you cannot have both things at the same time. So we believe more in full screen and more targeted, smarter, but then when the ad is going to be there, it's going to perform a lot better, and it's going to be full screen.
I think all the game publishers who are putting effort in that they will be the next broadcaster of the future. So every marketing company needs to advertise on mobile sooner or later. So it's just a matter of time.
But it's hard to target. For the advertisers, they want to see the return of their investment, right? So a lot of them want to do geo-targeting, demographic targeting. But with the mobile, it's hard to get the user profile.
We have that thanks to analytics. Come on.
Yeah, no.
We know exactly when everyone is playing.
Yeah, but how do you get the user profile, right?
It's much more easier to get it on mobile rather than on TV.
Yes.
Right. I mean, you're not going to get the individual, like you don't want a personable identifiable information, but you can know where they're based and how much money they spend on other games, or, and that's a lot of information about that user.
Okay, terrific. Ron, you have anything?
That's absolutely right. We did, the campaign we did was per area code. You can get down to area code. You can actually reverse engineer today the phone numbers. There's apps that do it, and you can find the name, the person where they live.
That's bad, though.
It is bad. But a lot of, too much data available from mobile devices. And you're absolutely right. You can get way more profile information out of mobile device than any other media out there.
Okay. So I want to leave some time for the questions. So let's go around really quick and just, 20 seconds. I want to go, because we are such an international group here. So what do you know about the regional? And give advice, a strategy. Let's say Chris was earlier talking about if you go into the Europe market, how do you test the market? And what kind of practice would you suggest? Strategy or practice?
I think everyone will try out Europe with an English version. That's it. That will fail. I think for the UK, perfect. As soon as you try to sell someone in Italy, for example, in Germany, in Spain, an English version, it will not work as soon as there's a lot written in there. So as soon as there's a lot of text. So you need to localize to all the important markets, and that makes Europe a quite difficult market for anyone, no matter if they are coming from Asia or if they are coming from the US.
Okay, so besides the localization, and you were talking about test market, you know.
Yeah, some guys are testing out, for example, the German version in Austria. So they are not targeting directly in the German market. They take the small brother, and that's Austria, for example, if that's good. If that's working, they are moving back to Germany as well.
I see.
Yeah,
Yes,
actually, you know, this topic of localization for different markets and so forth is such a big topic. It's been around in mobile devices in games, especially for 20 plus years. And I've been there. I worked for 10 years for Capcom, localizing games worldwide. I definitely recommend today, especially on a smartphone, you pick a market, you pick a territory, pick a language, usually English. You want to work there and launch it. Once you reach a critical mass of success, then you think 10 times before you start localizing to a local market. Because it's much easier to localize any content, doesn't matter if it's app or games, to a local market after it's successful than before it's successful. It's much easier to localize Angry Birds in Brazil to Portuguese language than in a game that you're a developer, you love your game, and you do in 20 languages because you think it's cool, you want to go global. Don't do it. Focus, one language, one territory, make a critical mass, get it very successful, then think about localization.
I agree with half of what you said. So I do think that companies, they start with one language. Once the game is successful, they decide to invest in localizing. But you should launch worldwide and then start making the versions of each country better. Because I mean,
absolutely.
With your English version, you can already get tons of users worldwide.
Exactly.
Well, it depends. If you localize not perfect language-wise, you will have the bad scores, and the game will go to the local market down, and it will be very difficult to bring up to the charts again, even if you do better translation and better localization. It's very important. The first impression is very important at every local market. In general, what I would suggest to developers, because the guys were talking about the cases when developer publish himself, but many small teams actually go through the global publishers, even in the App Store and the Google Play through big guys. And my advice would be, guys, don't believe that if anybody tells you that they can publish you globally. In each region, like US, Europe, Asia, have 3-4 partners. There is no single company in the market who could publish globally well. I don't want to offend any big guys, but there is no.
All right. So beware when you work with the distributors, and every region is still different. Okay, great. I want to leave some time for questions, and remember, if you ask good questions, you're going to get rewarded, and it's not virtual. It's a real Heineken, okay? So ask your question, but you have to come to the spotlight so we can see you. Anybody? Questions?
Over there.
I can see you. Come over here. Come over here. We can see you.
Come get the beer.
I can see you. I can give you the beer. State your name really quick. Say your question in less than 5 seconds. Rick! Rick is of DNA.
Hi guys, Rick, DNA. Quick question for the panel here. Hi Maria, guys. I just checked the App Store top 25 free, and interesting enough, about 1/3 of them is games, and the 2/3 are not games. So I was just wondering what's going on there, if you guys have any insights into it.
1/3 are games, top 25, 2/3 are apps.
Top 25 free or grossing?
They're free, right?
Free or grossing?
Free.
Yeah, something's happening, so what's your thoughts?
So questions is whether that 1/3 make more money than the 2/3.
So we're talking about the App Store that just launched new phones. Whenever new version of an iPhone is launched, all the basic apps like Pandora and Facebook and utility apps, or right now all of these apps that are integrated with the passcode thing of Apple, all of these apps suddenly get tons of users. If you look at top grossing charts, it's very different. It's a lot more game-centric, because games are the ones that have a business on the phone.
Right. Okay.
And in general, there is nothing wrong with that. Like, if you look at the economy, Facebook is bigger than electronic arts. That's it.
Anything to add on? Oh, Rick, here's your beer. Oh, you can come collect later. This is for Rick.
Talk about product placement.
No, you're second. You have to ask a question before you can get rewarded. This is for Rick.
I'm talking prepaid.
Prepay, okay.
So my company, Kachingle, just launched, and we're a platform that allows apps to be bundled together and sold for a subscription fee. So I'm curious to hear your feedback if you think how viable you think bundle marketing is as a way of getting users to subscribe to apps.
Bundle market.
Yeah, like cable TV, movie package, $80 worth of movie channels for, say, $40 a month. We're bringing that basic model to the mobile app space.
Okay, I think I heard earlier panel, there's one panelist of VC says that he would not fund any news-related app. But that's just joking. Yes, any take on that?
Well, I mean, as a user, it's funny because there's the opposite trend, like Apple TV is giving you every chapter on its own instead of bundling all the chapters. So I think it's a very innovative thing to do with apps, and I've never seen that before. I'm very curious to see results. And well,
Any advice?
Well, in the gaming industry, when I remember the old good days of Java world things, the subscription model was existent. But from the developer point of view, as usually, the devil is in details, how you split the revenue. Because from developer point of view, the subscription model is not nice because usually the big title go up and the middle title go down. So the developers are not willing to provide with new updates and stuff like this. So if you have solution for this issue, then it will work. But if you don't,
I think that it depends on the business model for developers, and if you can convince all the developers to take part. Because then we are talking again about how many developers you will have in their subscription. Otherwise, consumers will not take part there.
Still, there is a lot of bundles or applications on subscription model in mobile devices, both on smartphones and on feature phones, especially on feature phones. Now, smartphones with Google subscription model available, hopefully Apple bringing along a good solution as well. You're going to see a complete new generation of subscription models the same way you're talking about for smartphones. Great. This is coming. It all depends on the quality of the package. At the end of the day, people will pay the subscription and they will continue a la carte subscription. That's just a payment method. The key question is the quality of the product.
Great, thank you.
Okay,
What's
good.
your name?
Thank you. I'm Fred Dewey with Kachingle.
Okay, here's your beer. I was going to shoot it to you, but if I am a good shooter, that's what I'm afraid. Great, thanks. Next.
Hi, I'm Dhaval from Zorient. I had a question on game consoles. So what are your thoughts on two aspects of game consoles? One is the games on the game consoles. What happens to them in 5 years or 10 years? You can choose your horizon. And what happens to the games on TV?
Okay, game console and TV games, smart TV games. Okay, any take on that?
I've been on that business, again, 10 years, and now we're in the mobile business. So game consoles will continue to exist. We're seeing they're getting a huge bidding right now. You see Nintendo collapsing. Their market cap is the lowest ever. And you see basically everyone extremely concerned on the console business. But you still know that the power of the console is way above any potential mobile devices in the next 5 to 10 years. So they're going to continue to create different ecosystems. Xbox is ahead of the game. The online systems with a very intense massive multiplayer games. So you're going to see that kind of generation on consoles right now. And what you're going to see on TV is actually going to be a display extension of the mobile devices. Every mobile device is going to start displaying on TV. So you're going to have the casual games, the mobile, the tablets, and so forth, the medium quality, high-end games going to the TV through the tablets, and the console is going to be on the hardcore games, massive multiplayer games that require an amazing amount of power that mobile device will not be able to provide in the next 5 to 10 years.
I think we believe in the beyond mobile strategy. So mobile games will come up also to the console, also to, for example, the TV. So smart TV is there already. You can play our games already over an Android telephone on your TV, for example, with MHL or whatever. We backed Oya, for example, as angel investor. So that's, or angel backer, sorry. What we are believing is that the casual gamers and the small households, also the casual gamers from the family side, they will play more the mobile games titles on their console, on the TV. For the hardcore gamers like I am, for example, I will still have a console as well.
Okay.
If we are talking about the time frame, about like 3 or 5 years, I would also take in consideration the development of the broadband, because why console was so important in the previous years, because the internet coming to your house was not that fast enough. But right now, the whole ecosystem of computing is actually going to the way that actual device in your hands could have less processing power, but everything goes to the cloud. And if you have good connectivity in your home, you don't need console because everything is processed on there. So if this trend will continue to go this way, there is no space for console as we know it today.
Okay, so don't quit your daytime job at the console game company, okay?
Well,
What's
this
your
has
name
been
again?
a great panel. Unfortunately, we are out of time.
Thank you. Thank you.
We
Sorry,
could,
we're out
keep,
of time.
we could keep going on and on with
Yeah,
this
I
panel
would like to
because
give
there's
all
just
the
so
beers
much to
away,
cover.
Thank you, Anna. And one round of room of
Yes,
applause.
please.
To our
Let's have a round of
wonderful
applause for the panel.
And
Thank
you very much for
Shirley,
staying
and,
here on
the rest of the
Saturday
team.
afternoon. Really appreciate it. And thanks to those of you watching on live stream. And thank you very much. We love you. Thank you.
Great.